Good day, everyone. We're here to discuss our research on the role of influencer marketing in achieving social and economic objectives of advocacy-driven businesses.
Here is a quick overview of our report.
Social media creates an interactive environment wherein users have the freedom and equal opportunity to view or create content to potentially engage their audience in such a virtual digital world. Because of this, anyone has the potential to become an influencer or an opinion leader. Social media has already been established to be an effective tool and platform for businesses to advertise their message and content out to their audience through influencers. Social media influencers are actually the new type of independent third-party endorsers who shape audiences' attitude through social media. Not only do these influencers serve as marketing tools to increase brand awareness, they also allow businesses to further their social causes or advocacies in the same way. In the Philippines, IM is becoming more and more evident and a preferred marketing strategy. Particularly for cosmetic businesses, IM is more beneficial for consumers as it serves as a testament to a product's performance. Furthermore, the emergence of sustainability, social causes, and advocacies within Philippine businesses serve as an area for further research with respect to influencer marketing. We actually want to identify whether advocacy-driven cosmetic businesses can utilize influencer marketing for achieving economic objectives of profit and social objectives of amplifying advocacies. With this, we have three main research questions. 1. What is the significance and extent of Luanyan's determinants of influencer marketing on consumer engagement? 2. What is the significance and extent of the theory of perceived behavioral controls determinants on intention on purchase intention? 3. What is the significance and extent of consumer engagement to their support of the company's advocacy? Our general objective is to determine whether it's advisable for businesses within the cosmetics industry actively advocating for social causes to employ influencer marketing in their business strategies. The specific objectives are as follows: to use a mixed method research design, to conduct online interviews for the collection of qualitative data, to conduct online surveys incorporating a Likert scale ranging from 1 to 7, to conduct hypothesis testing to analyze the effect of the independent variable to the dependent variables using linear regression and mediation analysis. The researchers suppose that influencer marketing has been instrumental in promoting sustainability and sustainable businesses. Influencers raise issues to the forefront of online discourse and consumerism. Essentially, influencer marketing is able to satisfy two objectives: product promotion and social inspiration. The study will appeal to MSMEs since the research will ascertain the social and commercial effectiveness and benefits of employing IM. Cosmetic businesses may assess whether or not to invest their resources in such strategies. For cosmetic business owners, the research may aid in their decision-making process. The research may lead cosmetic business owners to consider adapting and developing their influencer marketing. Moreover, the research can encourage them to pursue social goals, advocacies, or causes, given the benefits IM can have in this respect. By understanding the value of IM, cosmetic businesses may be more conscious of their choice of influencers, ensuring that their brand advocacy or message is delivered. For consumers who are constantly exposed to several marketing strategies, especially on social media, the research may benefit them by making them more vigilant towards content value, influencer credibility, and brand awareness. For influencers, they may use the findings to know the stakes of partnering with a business, particularly an advocacy-driven one. Making much more informed decisions may help them build their credibility. In addition to this, the influencers may understand how to make a positive impact on their followers or audience by promoting certain social causes or advocacies. Since IM is a relatively new term, there are various definitions proposed by multiple authors. For this research, IM consists of qualities of informative value and entertainment value, and influencer qualities of trustworthiness, expertise, similarity, and attractiveness. We recognize that this research would be more comprehensive if these variables were treated as individual variables. However, they will be treated as a whole variable, which is influencer marketing, for a simplified presentation of results and analysis. There is also a lack of information for the particular topic, which is evident in terms of the Philippine context, but because the source of data of the research or the respondents of the surveys and interviews are Philippine-based, the findings of the research may be limited to or more fit in the Philippine context.
For the review of related literature, our group focused on three main pillars, being literature related to influencer marketing, marketing of advocacy-driven companies, and brand advocacy and purchase intention. So for literature related to influencer marketing, it was defined that influencers are individuals who have a dedicated social following and are viewed as experts within their niche. They also serve as a form of social proof to a brand's potential customers. One interesting finding says that influencer marketing provides better return on investment than other marketing methods. And some of the elements that are key factors of their success is advertising content value, influencer credibility, and perceived trust. So it is important to choose a brand advocate who aligns with the ideals of the brand and is able to present it in the most sales-worthy way. For literature related to marketing of advocacy-driven companies, marketing may be used to further spread and develop their advocacy while meeting commercial goals, and that investment on one aspect over the other, say focusing on performance in the commercial context rather than social, still enhances the performance of the counterparts in terms of customer satisfaction, but not market effectiveness, meaning it mainly benefits existing buyers. Lastly, literature related to brand advocacy and purchase intention. Some of our findings show that social enterprise marketers must focus on campaigns that encourage repeat purchase or loyalty-based programs, as these contribute to a heightened sense of brand credibility, communal brand connection, and self-efficacy to encourage purchase intention. So one way of doing this is through electronic word-of-mouth engagement. Emphasizing a strong inclination towards this will most likely yield greater purchase intention, and one example of this is influencer marketing. So for Chapter 3, we will be talking about research framework, design, and methodology. We based our conceptual framework from the two theoretical frameworks of the Theory of Planned Behavior by Addison 1991 and Social Media Influencer Value or SMIV model by Liu and Yan 2019. So the theory states that much of human behavior is directed according to goals and follows a well-made, predetermined plan, whether implicit or explicit. The main premise of this theory is that if people plan to do something, then they are most likely to accomplish their actions. The SMIV model, on the other hand, argues that it builds meaningful relationships between advertising value and source credibility. It evaluated how influencer marketing, given its message, features, and credibility, could affect consumer behavior. So we took highlighted elements of their framework in this slide and contextualized that into our conceptual framework. So in this slide, you can see our conceptual framework. So going from left to right, you can see from the left, we have the influencer marketing elements, namely informative value, entertainment value, expertise, trustworthiness, attractiveness, and similarity. And then we explore the relationships of this with brand awareness, attitude towards the company, and involvement of the consumer with the message. Following that, brand awareness has a relationship with purchase intention, which has a relationship with advocacy action. And in the same way, attitude towards the company also has an effect to purchase intention, advocacy action, and involvement with the message. Lastly, involvement with the message has an effect on advocacy action. So overall, that sums up our conceptual framework.
A mixed method design will be used for this study, specifically the Convergent Design or One-Phase Design model by Creswell 2018. As you can see in the diagram above, qualitative and quantitative data collection and analysis will have their results merged to interpret a more meaningful connection and come up with a significant correlations from the two major perspectives of this study, from the advocacy-driven business plus influencers and the consumers. Quantitative data was collected through Google Forms by posting the link on the DLSU community forum and personally messaging potential respondents, while qualitative data collection was conducted through inviting one advocacy-driven business owner and one influencer to have an online video call interview over Zoom. The research participants consist of late Gen Z and early millennials ranging from 18 to 26 years old. The advocacy-driven cosmetic business representative was the branch operator of Human Nature Davao, Ms. Monique Villanueva. Lastly, the influencer was Sofia Santos, who currently have around 10,000 followers on Instagram. Jamovie was the main software used to run the analytical tests, namely construct reliability, correlation matrix using Pearson Aure, regression analysis, and mediation analysis. The number of respondents employed was based on the minimum required sample size for a multiple regression study, following an anticipated effect size of 0.16, desired statistical power level of 95%, and a probability level of 0.05. The resulting minimum required sample size was 118 respondents.
Moving on to data results and analysis. A Google Form survey was distributed and a total of 119 respondents answered the survey. The profile of the respondents are as follows. The average age of the respondents is 20.56 years old, as majority are aged 19 to 21. More than half of the respondents surveyed are female, and majority of the respondents reside in the cities of Davao, Manila, and Quezon. As the majority of the respondents are students with an average monthly income or allowance of 7,713 pesos, the respondents are willing to spend 500 to 1,000 on cosmetic products such as makeup, lipstick, skincare, and the like. Moreover, the respondents use the social media platforms Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram the most, spending 4 to 6 hours on social media daily. Given that the respondents 80% of the time or frequently see influencers promoting brands with advocacies, majority of the respondents have encountered social media influencers promoting cosmetics highlighting advocacies. However, most of these respondents cannot remember these influencers. Among these influencers identified by the respondents are Heart Evangelista, Chris Uy, and Tony Sia. With this, respondents believe that influencer marketing is very effective in general and very effective as well for advocacy driven businesses. Among the advocacy driven cosmetic brands stated, Human Nature Philippines, BLK Cosmetics PH, and Colorette Cosmetics are the most popular among or known by the respondents. Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube are the social media platforms from which respondents encounter or receive updates from these brands. While almost half of the respondents are aware of the brand advocacies of the cosmetic brands they know, a number are still unsure or cannot immediately identify these advocacies. Over half of the respondents would purchase advocacy driven products promoted by an influencer for the reasons of supporting the brand advocacy, liking the product, and trusting the influencer's reviews. The respondents are willing to spend 500 to 1,000 on advocacy driven cosmetic products promoted by influencers. Moving on to the main part of the survey, presented are the descriptive statistics of the variables. Each question that was asked pertaining to various variables were averaged per respondent to get the grand mean, median, and mode scores of the variables. This table shows that attitude towards a company, involvement in the message, and advocacy action had the highest scores, and most of the answers for all variables fall between 4 to 6 on a 7-point Likert scale. Moreover, while all variables had roughly similar standard deviations, brand awareness and attitude towards a company had the highest standard deviations, revealing the most scattered responses. On the other hand, interviews were also conducted to gather qualitative data from an advocacy driven cosmetic business, Human Nature Davao, as well as a social media influencer, Sofia Santos. The qualitative data gathered from these interviews served as an aid in the researcher's analysis and conclusion, which will be discussed later on. With the quantitative data gathered, the researchers first tested the variable's construct reliability. In order to conclude construct reliability or to conclude that the variables are statistically reliable, the researchers expect a Cronbach's alpha value of at least zero point 0.7. The results from the reliability analysis shows that all variables have desirable alphas above zero point 0.7, therefore they are considered reliable. Using the Jamovi program, the researchers conducted a correlation analysis as a part of hypothesis testing. The Pearson's correlation matrix shows that there is positive correlation or positive linear relationship among the variables. Moreover, all p-values are less than zero point zero 0.01, indicating statistical significance. Notably, advocacy action and involvement in the message, as well as influencer marketing and purchase intention, have the highest Pearson's R values or the strongest correlations. Using multiple regression analysis, the researchers tested 9 hypotheses of the research. For hypothesis 1-1, 2-1, and 3-1, the multiple regression analysis showed that influencer marketing had a significant influence on brand awareness, involvement in the message, and attitude towards a company, with p values of less than zero point zero 0.01 for all 3 variables. These three regression analyses show that influencer marketing or consumers' exposure to influencers' content for a brand is likely to result in consumers' awareness of the brand, willingness to process the message or advocacy, and positive perception of the brand. For hypothesis 1-2 and 3-3, the multiple regression analysis showed that both brand awareness and attitude towards the company had a significant influence on purchase intention, with p values of less than 0.01 for both. Moreover, for hypothesis 3-4, the multiple regression analysis showed that attitude towards a company had a significant influence on involvement with the message with a p value of less than 0.01. This means that the elements of consumer engagement, brand awareness, and attitude towards the company can result in purchasing behaviors in consumers. In other words, consumers' awareness of the brand and positive perceptions of the brand are likely to result in their intentions to purchase from the brand. Furthermore, positive perceptions of the brand can result in consumers' willingness to process the message or advocacy of the brand. Lastly, for hypotheses 3-2, 2-2, and 1-3, the multiple regression analysis showed that the variable of advocacy action and its determinants. The multiple regression analyses showed that attitude towards a company and involvement in the message had a significant influence on advocacy action, both with p values of less than 0.001. This means that consumers' positive perceptions of the brand and their willingness to process its message or advocacy can result in their taking action on the brand's advocacy or supporting the brand's advocacy. However, purchase intention with a p-value of 0.807 or greater than 0.05 had no significant influence on advocacy action, therefore not supporting hypothesis 1-3, but the analyses accepted or supported all the other eight hypotheses. With mediation analysis, the researchers found that influencer marketing has a total effect on advocacy action with a p-value of less than 0.001. However, influencer marketing does not have a direct effect on advocacy action as the p-value is 0.228 or greater than 0.05. This shows that influencer marketing has a total and fully mediated effect on advocacy action. To summarize the data analysis for hypothesis testing, this table illustrates that only hypothesis 1-3 was not supported given its p-value, while the other eight hypotheses were supported by the data results and analyses with p-values less than 0.001. Moreover, to summarize the research findings, this table shows the research questions alongside the corresponding hypotheses tested and the results of the research. Given the path estimates presented in the research's conceptual framework, the results that hypothesis 1-3 was not supported is evident. Since path estimates show the effect size between two variables, purchase intention had no significant effect on advocacy action. With all the data gathered and analyses done by the researchers, it can be concluded that firstly, influencer marketing significantly influenced consumer engagement, brand awareness, involvement in the message, and attitude towards the behavior. Second, consumer engagement, particularly attitude towards the company and involvement in the message, but not purchase intention, significantly influence advocacy action. And lastly, influencer marketing had a total and fully mediated effect on advocacy action. Given these findings, the researchers conclude that while influencer marketing, composed of advertising content value and influencer credibility, is an emerging marketing strategy used by businesses today, it does not necessarily help advocacy driven cosmetic businesses to further their advocacies and achieve their social goals. Influencer marketing is merely a tool for consumers to be able to engage with the brands they have been exposed to through influencers. While influencer marketing can lead to consumers' purchasing behaviors, it does not necessarily result in their support of a brand's advocacy or the achievement of social objectives. Perhaps consumers' purchasing behavior comes from a desire to appear like the influencers they look up to, but their admiration for an influencer is not deep enough to appreciate the same beliefs or advocacies. In addition to this, perhaps consumers have yet to demand cosmetic businesses to pursue social advocacies because there's no perceived sense of guilt. Since influencers are just as much consumers as everyone else, their cosmetic product endorsements focus on product attributes and features, given the sensitive nature of cosmetic products, therefore making brand advocacies a second priority for consumers. With that said, consumers have the responsibility to engage with the brand, to get to know the advocacy, and to gain a deeper appreciation for the brand and its message before they can take action towards and support the brand's advocacy.
We recommend for MSMEs to incorporate social objectives such as furthering advocacies alongside their economic motivations to such extent that having social advocacies becomes common practice among Philippine enterprises. For cosmetic business owners, we recommend having a metric in terms of quality and quantity standards in vetting potential influencers to associate with the brand. Furthermore, we suggest for business owners to restructure their marketing strategies such that their brand identity is centered on their advocacy. For social organizations, we recommend establishing partnerships with cosmetic business owners and perhaps most business owners in general in order to guide and facilitate them in creating their own or following established advocacies. With the help of social organizations, businesses and influencers can be able to promote a more informed social cause. We also recommend for them to explore collaborations between businesses that integrate IM. For consumers, we encourage them to demand that businesses begin adopting appropriate principles in the way they conduct businesses to be more supportive of advocacy-driven or social cosmetic businesses. For influencers, we recommend them to improve their persuasive communication as well as strengthen their brand or perceived character in order to receive the favor of companies. Influencers are encouraged to continue with their posting activities and engage with their followers. This will enable them to create lasting impressions and perhaps a more loyal follower base.